So you want to know the best outbound sales scripts? Well, you are in luck because today I'm sharing with you 4 high-performing outbound sales scripts, strategies that are working today, and 3 that need to be retired for good. I'm Amy Walker, Client Acquisition Specialist, and I help clients to create consistent, predictable sales through their outbound marketing and their scalable sales strategies. So welcome back to the Sales Doc, where we are diagnosing your sales woes and making sure that your sales are sick. Outbound sales can be tough. I mean, honestly, it's a lot of time and energy that you're putting out there, and the response rate that you get is pretty low. It's never going to be as easy, as smooth, and as effective as calling warm leads, but sometimes we need to do it. Sometimes we just need to create that flow. The other reason why we love outbound sales is because it can always be done. There are times in your organic marketing where your lead flow is up and down. Sometimes you're like, we got an abundance of leads. Other times it's a little bit lean. Outbound sales allows you to always have someone to sell to. You can never have the excuse of, I don't have anyone to talk to. So we want to get good at outbound sales, even though it's hard. Sometimes you feel like a professional stalker, and that doesn't feel good. Sometimes the boringness of it gets to us. I mean, it's like the same stuff over and over. And sometimes the rejection gets to us. So I want to share with you some outbound strategies that are actually working well and are producing well. And then we're going to talk about the ones that we can just let go of. We don't have to do those. And you're going to be glad to see them gone. If you stay until the end of the video, I'm also going to share with you my 3 favorite tools to make outbound selling so much easier. If you are using outbound sales, you're cold emailing, you are using Messenger, and you're just messaging, and you're not getting anything in response, it's really frustrating. It feels like a huge waste of time. It feels like maybe it's never going to happen for you. So if that's where you've been, it's okay, I understand. But let's just decide that that's not where you're going to be tomorrow and make some positive changes. So the first tip that I have for you is to actually look just outside of your warm market and get an introduction. You know that referrals are so much easier to close than a cold lead. You know that if you send an email to somebody that you've never met before and they've never heard of you, the likelihood of them reaching back out is probably not super high. But if you have a friend or a connection who can introduce you to that person that actually also knows them. I'm not talking about LinkedIn connections where you're like, hey, I see we have a mutual connection, and both of you are going, I don't even know who that person is. I'm talking an actual connection. They actually know that person. And then you just use a very simple script where you have that person reach out and say, hey, name, I wanted to connect you with Amy because she's really great at, and I think that you guys could benefit having a conversation together. And that's as easy as it needs to be. Those types of introductions lead to sales conversations, I'd say like 70-80% of the time. That's a very high conversion rate. So make sure that you are looking at your warm market and you're looking at who is like 1 or 2 degrees beyond them and ask for those strategic introductions. So the second cold reach out that is working pretty well is a captivating question. Now these are short emails and you're gonna have to play around with your question until you find one that actually works. So for example, you could say something like, hey, have you ever thought about XYZ? Or, hey, so great to connect with you. I see that we're both in this same field. Can I ask you a quick question? And then when they say yes, you can come back and ask that strategic question. I'm having a hard time coming up with specific examples for you guys because literally every industry is different. But let me just give you an example of one that I have going on with one of my current clients right now. She works with architects, engineers, and home builders. Here's how her reach out goes. Hey, so glad to be connected. I see that we're both in the same industry and I am working on a book for employee retention. Could I ask you a really quick survey question? And then when they respond back, she has them rate their employee retention plan on a scale of 1 to 5. So 1 would be, what plan? We're just hoping they stick around long enough. And 5 being, our plan is so great, our people stick around forever, and we could write this book. So then they simply write back and they say what number it is, and then that's the beginning of a conversation. That's our goal with outbound marketing, is to get people to talk to us, not to get them to say, in a first reach out, yeah, I want to hire you to run my TikTok videos, or yeah, why don't I hire you to revamp my website since you're a total stranger who just reached out to me and I don't know anything about you. The goal in the outbound should be to start a conversation, not to close a deal. Number 3 is an interview invite. One of the easiest ways to get connected to people is to ask if you can interview them for a podcast or for a book or for a magazine article that you're submitting or a blog post that you're doing. People want to talk about themselves. They want to get more visibility on their business. So especially when you're B2B, asking if you can interview people is a great way to get them to say yes. This one right here is actually one of the most powerful strategies that we have used to grow our business. So we've had 2 or 3 different funnels over the years that have each produced multiple 6 figures, and all started off with an interview ask. One was where we did a book interview where I reached out and said, hey, I'm writing a book. This is my audience that I'm writing for. I'm looking to interview business owners who fit this criteria. So I'm having conversations with like my exact ideal clients. And then they would do the interview with my team. And at the end of it, we would say, well, is this something that you'd like more help on? Because Amy's hosting an event, we'd love to give you a ticket. And so that generated some really amazing clients and really amazing deals. Another strategy that we use, and still to this day use, the book one I use when I actually want to write a book, but all the time we reach out to people and ask them if they will be a speaker on either our podcast or on one of our online conferences. And that has been a consistent lead generation producer. Plus, it's also built amazing relationships inside of our industry. And, you know, they always say that like your network is your net worth. It truly helps make business so much easier when you have the right connections. The third one is just kind of a simpler spin-off of that, which is finding joint venture partnerships. So people that we can reach out, ask if we can interview them on our social media platform. It's not quite as big of a production as one of our events, but definitely gets us in front of the right people and helps build those relationships. If these tips are helpful, make sure that you like this video and then leave us a comment, subscribe, and hit that bell notification so you can get notified every time we release new content. My next tip also comes with a book recommendation. If you've been following my channel, you know that one of my top favorite marketing books is the book How to Get a Meeting with Anyone by Stu Heineck. It is a phenomenal book, and this is a strategy that you'll use specifically for people that are hard to reach. They have gatekeepers. They don't spend a lot of time on social media, or somebody else manages their social media accounts for them. And you need to be able to like get through in order to get that conversation and get that meeting. In this case, I recommend that your best outbound strategy isn't going to be per se a script or something that you send through Messenger or through email. This is going to be a contact marketing campaign. That's what Stu covers in the book, is how to create contact marketing campaigns that have a very high success rate at getting you a meeting with a very targeted list of people. What you're basically doing here is you're wowing them. You are coming up with something that is going to be exciting and fun and is going to capture their attention so that they say yes to you. This could be something like sending them a custom bobblehead doll. It could be one of the things that Stu does. He is a cartoonist by trade, so he does these big board cartoon pictures of them. And he lets the assistant know that it's coming and make sure that she's prepared for it, that it's going to be delivered at a good time. So the assistant isn't the gatekeeper. They're actually watching for it, waiting for it, and making sure that it makes it to their boss. This could be, I remember one of the ideas he shares in the book is somebody sends a deck of cards. They send a card a day until they have almost a royal flush, but not quite a royal flush. And then the last message is like, hey, if you really want to complete this process, we need to talk about XYZ. And so you're creating something that is going to be impossible to ignore. and is going to incentivize them to want to get in touch with you. Stu actually sent me one of these when he was working on one of his new release projects. He sent me a branded video business card. And so I opened it up. It had all of his branding on there. It was gorgeous packaging. I pushed play and it was a video that said, "Hey, Amy, I wanted to tell you about our new project that we're working on and see if we could get you involved." And of course I responded because it had actually been personalized. It had actually taken time and energy. Now, I'm not saying that this is what you want to do with the bulk, but think about it. What if you didn't have to do a ton of reach outs because the ones that you were doing were really vetted, really well qualified, and really strategic? That could be pretty exciting. Now, what are the things that I'm personally sick of seeing, you're sick of seeing, we're all sick of doing, that we should just stop? Number one is going to be the vague connection request. I hate, this is my pet peeve, when I get a message that says, "Hey, Amy, I have been looking at our mutual friends and it seems like we've got a lot of synergy. Would you like to connect and just see where things go?" I'm like, no, I don't. My schedule's full. I'm busy. If I want to just like hang out with somebody, I'd rather just hang out with my husband or my kids or my sisters or my friends, right? Like, I don't want to talk to a stranger about some unidentifiable sales pitch that I know is coming, but I have no idea if I need what you want at all. It feels like such a waste of time. And I don't understand how anybody responds to those other than people who also have nothing going on and are hoping that maybe they'll get to pitch you. So that might sound harsh, but let's stop. Let's just stop. Okay, number two, I alluded to earlier, this is the quick pitch. This is where the first email is like straight into the pitch, and it's a pitch that's asking you to buy something. Now, you can do a straight into the pitch if you're like asking to put someone on your podcast or asking somebody if they want to be an affiliate for you and you can pay them. Like, you can do a quick pitch in circumstances where you are giving them the opportunity, but when you're asking them to buy from you, the quick pitch straight up just doesn't work. Nobody likes it. Okay, number three is the really long ask. We used to do this when we started doing online summits. Our first email was like all the details, and people loved it because they were like, "That was so helpful. I was able to see all the details. Totally made sense. Yes, I'm in." We get too many emails now. We get too many reach outs. So we don't want a long email. We don't have to read a lot. So now our reach outs kind of go like this. "Hey, we're booking speakers for our next upcoming summit. It looks like you are somebody that we'd be interested in talking to. Are you looking for speaking opportunities right now? And could we send you more information?" And if they say yes, then we send them more information. But we do not make a big long pitch because they're not getting read and opened as much as they used to. Now, outbound sales is kind of this hybrid between sales and marketing, because if you truly had enough organic leads, you might not need to do outbound marketing, right? So if you're in this space where you're trying to figure out, how do I get into the right people? How do I get more leads coming through? I'm going to give you a tool today. It's called the Ultimate Marketing Calendar. And if you just go to www.ultimatemarketingcalendar.com, you can download it. It is going to help you plan out and track your marketing activities so that you know exactly how many leads you need to hit your sales goal every single month, and you actually have the plan in place to do it. So go grab it. It is a really powerful spreadsheet that is going to change your life. Plus it comes with the training video that shows you actually how to use it. If you're looking for a community of like-minded entrepreneurs, come join us in our private Facebook group, Acquire. I would absolutely love to see you there. And while you're thinking, what should I watch next? I'm going to suggest that you go check out my 15-minute masterclass on how to fix the 5 biggest problems in your marketing. It is going to give you some massive clarity and help you to see that prospecting and cold reach outs are not the only thing in your tool belt to help you be able to create consistent, predictable sales. Thanks so much for being here. I can't wait to see you back again.